So here we have a black vehicle and a white vehicle. So the white vehicle, just from a distance you can tell, is much cooler than the black. So let's see what the reading is, and just to preemptively respond to the pedants that I'm not going for exact temperature, I'm going for relative temperature, which I think this is going to be pretty close. So this one's about 105. Now the sun's just went out, but just came back. So it's the same whether the sun's shining on it or not. And then let's go over here to the darker. This isn't black, but it's a very dark gray. So this one's, you can see it's much hotter. So 140 or so. And when the sun's shining on it for a long period of time, it's gotten readings up to a 160 or so. So let's just see what the difference is on the inside. So when we open this up, let's get a reading from the headliner here on the darker one. So there's an accumulation of heat. There's a light. So we're talking about 140, 137, 140 here on the headliner. Back here, the sun hasn't been shining. So you can see the color temperatures there. And here in the front, you can see where the sun's shining, it's really hot. This is a bigger factor, I would say. Sun shining in the vehicle and heating up things in the vehicle. 170, 180 there on the dash. So I think this will be a bigger factor. The sun shining and heating dark things on the inside of the vehicle than the exterior color is what it seems like right now. Because you have the accumulation of heat based on the color is one thing, but you have a hot interior and it's accumulating the heat. So there's no, like right now there's wind blowing. Okay, so let's look at the underside of the headliner here. 124, 123. So this is cooler as far as the headliner. This one has the black interior. So you can see 122, sun shining here on the black seats here. So you can see right where the sun was shining versus where it was not shining. It's very visible here on the FLIR camera. All right, let's look in the front. You can see the top of the door had more sun shining on it. See what the dash is. $170. Seems a little tiny bit cooler, but very close. When you got the sun shining on the black on the inside, it warms it right up and it holds that heat in here. But the sun, the top of the headliner is cooler. So let's just do a touch test here. So right now the sun is behind the clouds. So I can put my hand here on the hood, and it's warm, but it's not really burning my hand or anything. It just feels like a warm surface. Now let's go to this darker vehicle. And let's put my hand on the same spot, similar spot. Ooh, this is really hot. Ah, yeah, I can't put my hand on there too much longer. That's much hotter than the white. And they're both in the same position. These vehicles haven't been running. They've been sitting here for several days, actually. Okay, so let's lift the hood up so we can see what the temperature is, just to kind of be extra careful on the all right, so the top temperature right now, 145. Well, it has insulation. So let's get a reading here in the bottom. this is separated, so this isn't the same surface. Yeah, it's hard. I can't get a reading on the exact same surface as because of this insulation. But you can see it's hotter underneath the insulation. Now some of this is metal, so it's not going to get a perfectly good reading. But here's some plastic here. But yeah, underneath the hood, gonna have a hard time getting the exact reading on the underside because of the insulation there. I wanted to get that same piece of metal on the underside, but I couldn't really do it. And that's gonna be the same thing on this white one. So let's just see what it's all about anyway. Well, we did the darker one. It is significantly cooler anyway, just in general. There's the underside right there. So yeah, right in here it kind of matches up to the top as far as the temperature. Okay, so let's look at the tires. Check out the tires. The tires are black and hold a lot of heat here. All right, so you can see the hottest part. Let's go and try to go for the hottest part here. And wow, that's pretty dang hot. And well, the sun hasn't been, it's kind of going in and out of the clouds, but you can see there's a clear difference between there and where the sun's not shining in there. Here's a truck that has both black and white on it, so you can clearly see, even from a distance, the difference between the white and the black surfaces as far as temperature. You can see the black surfaces match the tires more than the white surfaces. So right here is a matte black plastic. Let's get close on that. And that's 137, 138. So today's about in the high 80s, I guess. Fairly breezy too. So then you have this. This looks the same, but there's a slight difference in the retention of heat there between these two pieces of plastic. Well, this is a metal piece, that's why, and then that's a plastic piece. So let's take a look. There's a black plastic here. And then you can see the white right next to it. Temperature change there. Both visually and the temperatures is showing that it's reading anyway. We also have a gloss black. Very shiny gloss black here. And so you can see some reflections there that you want to try to avoid reflections when you're doing this type of stuff, which is hard to do in this particular case because it's aiming straight down. So it's getting the ground. And actually the ground, let's get a reading on that. And then let's get a reading on, you can see the cracks in the pavement, in the asphalt. And then here's a sidewalk that's much lighter in color, and you can see it's much cooler than the blacktop there. Then you can see the ground, there's dirt, cracks and stuff here, which is allowing, which is cooler than the blacktop there. And even the lines here appear to be cooler because they're a different color. And let's take a look at these wheels. They're slightly different shades. All right, so we're just kind of going through and getting a visual idea of the different dark versus light as far as temperature retention and accumulation and all that stuff with the FLIR camera, so you can get a visual idea, just kind of like visualizing the whole thing about dark and light and how one is hotter, one's cooler. Seems like the interior is what really makes a big difference as far as retaining that heat. The exterior is not that big of a deal because, you know, it's not accumulating heat. It's quickly dispelling heat when you're moving, or if it's windy or whatever. So I noticed when the clouds come and cover up the sun, the surface of these vehicles cool off quite fast. So I get these higher temperatures when the sun is shining for a while, but as soon as the sun goes behind the clouds, I'm getting a much cooler, not much, but a significantly cooler temperature after just a minute or so. So they cool off, the metal cools off rapidly, especially on the Rams. I'm pretty sure they have aluminum hoods. But anyways, I'm here at Van Underwood's. Van Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Whiteville, North Carolina. Thank you for watching, and thank you to them for allowing me to go out here and check out their vehicles.